You're listening to The Coffee Hour. I'm Andy Bates.
I'm Sarah Gulseth.
Welcome back. It's good to be back. Happy New Year, everyone, and blessed Epiphany as well. We have some great stories to share with you. We're going to travel around the globe today and give you an opportunity to travel around the globe, at least virtually anyway. Today, we're going to share that with you from our friends from the LCMS Office of International Mission. Thanks to Concordia University, Wisconsin for supporting the Coffee Hour. Find out more about Concordia University, Wisconsin at cuw.edu.
Live uncommon.
Joining us today is Erin Mackenzie, volunteer coordinator for Latin America and the Caribbean and serving in the Dominican Republic. Erin, welcome to the Coffee Hour.
Buenas tardes.
And joining us, Anne Gonzalez, manager for short-term mission training and engagement, the LCMS Office of International Mission. Anne, welcome back to the Coffee Hour.
Thanks so much for having me.
Always love going international and learning about what's going on with those who serve internationally for the Lutheran Church Missouri Synod and our partner churches as well. Let's start with this new event that you shared with us that's coming up. And how can participants learn about different cultures in this new event called Missions Unpacked?
So Missions Unpacked is a month-long experience that will highlight the 4 regional areas where the LCMS does our work internationally. And each week they will have the opportunity to explore through a regional overview video, some self-paced activities, things like cooking or craft, or just learning a little bit of the language. And then each week there will be a live presentation by one of our missionaries talking about their specific work in that region.
So what are the regions that the Office of International Mission works in?
Sure. So Latin America and the Caribbean, where Erin serves, and Eurasia, Africa, and Asia.
So then what specific country, are there specific countries that will be highlighted in each of these, or is this a broad overview of those large regions?
I'll let Erin talk about that.
So I can speak for Latin America and the Caribbean, LAC or LAC as we call it. And as me and my colleagues were kind of putting together our portion of Missions Unpacked and the whole experience, we tried to highlight lots of different areas of our region. It's extremely diverse. It goes all the way from the U.S.-Mexico border down to the tip of the southern cone. And then we even have Spain as a part of our region in Europe. So we tried to highlight countries and cultures and missionaries that kind of hit all over that map.
So Missions Unpacked is going to give us an opportunity to learn about some of these places where missionaries and others serve in international settings. How are we going to learn about these in the Missions Unpacked event? Erin, would you like to give us some insights from your perspective?
Yeah. So Missions Unpacked is a combination of synchronous and asynchronous activities. Those are big words. Maybe you're familiar with them from online learning or your kids' online learning. But basically it means that some activities, some portions of Missions Unpacked are self-paced and some portions are live. Anne mentioned in her introduction that the event is a month long. So basically we have a week for each of the 4 regions. And the weeks will run from Monday through Saturday. So Monday, you would be encouraged to watch a regional overview video. It'll be about 20 to 30 minutes that give you a broad introduction to the work that goes on all across the region. So what would be highlighted kind of at that big picture macro level. And then from there, you get to dive in throughout the week from Tuesday through Friday to different things like trying a local recipe or maybe watching a video about a local cultural attraction, learning a dance step, doing a craft project. So those things could take anywhere from maybe 2 or 3 minutes to watch a YouTube video to 45 minutes or an hour if you really want to dive in and get your hands on some supplies and really tackle a project. And then on Saturday, each region has selected a speaker, a missionary, to give a live presentation. So that'll be about an hour, maybe a little longer. You'll have the opportunity to hear a missionary's story, learn about their life, what they do on a day-to-day basis, see them, interact with them, and then ask lots of questions about their work and what it's like to serve with the LCMS internationally.
Can you give us any hints at what the LAC region events are going to be?
We have a recipe for those who enjoy cooking. I know one of my favorite things to do is try new recipes. So we have a new recipe for you to try. You get to go on a tour of a cultural attraction with one of our missionaries in Puerto Rico. We're going to teach you some Spanish. Yes. That'll be fun. You get to learn a table prayer in Spanish. So if you wanna practice it, maybe you can introduce a little international flair into your daily routine and start saying a Spanish table prayer.
That's really cool. And do you have any other examples of some of the activities that will be happening across the other 3 regions that people will be able to visit?
Yeah, so it's actually been fascinating because we gave each of the regions like the same set of guidelines and everyone interpreted them in their own way, right? Which is great. Like it shows just the diversity of our missionaries and whatever. So in Africa, there's one day where they decided to put together a drive across Africa. So they assembled local driving footage from lots of places where we have missionaries in Africa, and Africa is a huge continent that kind of goes, everything from a motorbike on a dirty, muddy road to, a 4-lane highway through, Nairobi. So that was interesting. I know in Eurasia, one of the days you have the opportunity to learn a few words of Russian. And so the activities are as diverse as the places that we have missionaries and our missionaries themselves.
So, okay, Erin had me at food. I was excited about food. And I love learning about food in different cultures, but there's so many other things to learn about in cultures as well. How do I get connected? You mentioned this is the first one is a month-long event. How do I participate? What do I need to know to participate? Erin?
So I guess the first question would be, when is it? It's coming up on January 18th. That is the Monday of the first week. And then it runs all the way through February 14th. So Valentine's Day would be the end of the 4th week. January 18th through February 14th is kind of when you would expect to participate. And then you can sign up on the LCMS calendar website. It's calendar.lcms.org. And when you go there, it pops right up to January, and I think it's like the 3rd event down. There's a really self-explanatory registration process that you'll see when you click on the calendar event. So calendar.lcms.org is how you would get signed up. And beyond that, you can sign up as an individual or your family. Really, any age could benefit from Missions Unpacked. Anyone who is interested in learning more about what our church does internationally.
Yeah, I can imagine this would be something really cool for homeschooling parents or for kids who are learning from home right now, to have that opportunity to get some cultural experience into their learning right now. How do you see this event, and how do you see this event inspiring people to volunteer with Office of International Mission?
So, as you know, right now we have online volunteer opportunities, but in the future we will be sending volunteers in person again. And this is just one more opportunity to learn about God's work throughout the world, and then see opportunities ways to support it, whether that is going and serving short-term or long-term, whether that's giving a financial gift or praying for our missionaries regularly. We want to encourage LCMS people to know more about what our international missionaries are doing so that they can support it in whatever way God leads.
Erin, anything you'd like to add to that, how Missions Unpacked could provide for potential future volunteers?
It's a great way to kind of get some just background information about the who, what, where, why, when, and how of LCMS international missions. For some people, maybe serving internationally is kind of a big step. It is a big step, but signing up for a free event, I don't know if we mentioned that this is completely free. Signing up for a free event is maybe something that's a little more bite-sized, and then from there, like Anne said, this can be kind of a baby step towards maybe liking LCMS mission work on Facebook, or praying for a missionary, or kind of taking that next step, praying about how God might have you and see you being involved in his mission around the world in the future.
And I could see how this might be a great resource for a congregation, or maybe a small group in a congregation, to connect with, to learn about missionaries and connect with them, and to really engage with what's happening in international work, as partners like this are serving all over the globe. Is there a cap on registration for this? Are there limited spots for this?
There are not, and we will actually continue to accept registrations even once we get going. I mean, obviously, you might miss out on one of the live presentations if you're a late joiner, but this is the first, and we're not totally sure how it's going to go. So we just want to keep it open for anybody who's interested to join and be a part of it. If we get a larger group, then it may be more of a webinar style presentation versus like a Zoom meeting, but that's a technical difference that we'll figure out on the back end. But yeah, no, there are no caps, and it's free. And sign up at calendar.lcms.org.
Very good. And we'll provide the link in the program notes today as well. I'm excited about this opportunity. I could see a number of places where this, in my own congregation, where this would be really helpful. Thank you so much for being our guest today. Erin Mackenzie, Volunteer Coordinator for Latin America and the Caribbean. Thanks so much for joining us on the Coffee Hour.
No problem. Thanks for having us.
Anne Gonzalez, Manager for Short-Term Mission Training and Engagement, LCMS Office of International Mission. Anne, thanks for joining us again on the Coffee Hour.
It's always a joy. Thank you.
You're listening to the Coffee Hour. I'm Andy Bates.
I'm Sarah Gulseth.